I've literally been showing up at the Apex. You don't think I'm going to show up at the White House? I was like, you're crazy if you don't think I'm going to go out there and fight with everything I got at the White House.
People are going to walk out of the Oval Office. They're gonna They're going to get taped up and wrapped in the Oval Office and then walk to the cage.
Hey, Trump knows better than me.
It has to be solid stance to where you are strong, because now we're about to lock horns.
I love it.
Got a clean record? Yes, sir. I got
a clean record. You got to pass the security clearance.
Yeah.
You can't have some guy with
Do
a
we
checkered
really care
past.
about records if we're breaking jaws on the grass?
Having management shouldn't prevent you from an opportunity. It should help you get an opportunity. And that's what we did. We helped them both get the opportunity they needed to be at the White House and fight in front of one of the biggest audiences in the history of the sport.
The White House. I mean, there's going to be all kinds of
Flags, eagles,
shit,
fireworks.
Right. Bro, I
over
wish
there.
I could say some of the stuff because it's insane.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back with another episode of the Jaxxon Podcast, Inside the Cage with Michael Bisping.
Let's go! Let's go!
Let's go!
You know what it is. You know what it is. Hall of Fame Bisping. You see him 1 foot in front of another.
This isn't about me, though. Who else we got?
Mr. Garcia! The Mean Machine.
The White House opener.
How about that?
The White House opener.
How about that?
How about that mic drop? White House opener. We've never even been able to use that term on a podcast that involves MMA. The White House.
Dude, I'm going to be the first person walking out of the White House, out of the Oval, and having a good old-fashioned fist fight in the cage.
That
How
is
crazy
insane.
is that?
It's wild, man. And that is going to be, I think, I've said this multiple times, it's got to be the most watched MMA event that's ever going to happen, because all over the world, every country in the world is going to have it on. And people that don't know anything about mixed martial arts, that have never heard of UFC, you can guarantee there'll be new segments on their local TV channels, and you'll go, you know what? They're having some kind of MMA, whatever that is, at the White House. They're going to tune in.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you,
Absolutely.
it's going to be wild.
No, man, this is Freedom 250. Like, this is like, what, like the...
Freedom 250.
Yeah.
What a title of the
Yeah.
fight card. Yeah. What a title of the fight
let's
card.
go. Yeah, no.
What happened 250 years ago?
I know. I think we smoked you boys. I think Bisping's
God
crew got
damn.
smoked, dude.
I cry myself to sleep every night
Why?
because we're no longer running America.
Bro, Bisping.
We
Bisping,
don't give
I
a goddamn.
I saw you on an interview with Dana White.
Yeah.
And it seemed like Dana was poking at you a little bit too.
Bro, every single time, every 4th of July, and basically any other time that he wants, he sends me abusive memes about the 4th of July. It's all good fun. It's all good fun. It's like, yeah, check this one out, Mike. Check this one out. It's great. It is. It's
People loved you.
good
People
thing.
loved you, by the way. We're going to jump back in this, but I got to give you your flowers. People love you on that breakdown with Dana. They had not seen something like that in a long time. You guys sat there and kind of released the card in a way.
Yeah. I was flying in early anyway, and then the production team just reached out and they were like, listen, we want to do something great about the next 9 fights coming up. Do you and Brendan Fitzgerald want to announce them? I'm like, holy shit, yeah, of course I do. And then, of course, yeah, you know, I mean, it was an honor to be sitting there with Dana. Dana's the man.
Can we talk about something
awesome.
else on this?
Yeah, please.
Early about what you got coming up, maybe? Or are we too early to leak that?
Oh, the thing I said?
Yeah.
Don't say anything yet.
Don't say anything
Gotta
yet.
come from
All
the
right.
UFC. Big
There's some
announcement.
Big announcement coming. Should I say it?
Don't
All
say it.
I'm not trying to get.
Right
Did
here on
you
the
see him
Jaxxon
run at the
podcast.
run club?
He
still has
wants
it.
to. He wants to.
Luke was like, Luke Rockhold was like, I wonder if Bisping could still fight. You know, when they were in the cage.
Oh.
I said, I think
Wonder
Bisping.
if I can still fight. No, the question should be, can I still knock the fuck out of him? And the answer is yes, unequivocally, 100%.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Let's
the Mean
fucking
Machine
go.
is here.
Nah, we're talking about Bisping today.
I
We
know
gotta
we're
get
not.
back to
We're
that.
here for you, man. We're here
Yes,
for you.
That was
All right.
great, Bisping.
That was great. That was great. 100%.
So I heard that you found out that you were going to be on the White House card while you were at dinner at Acapulco with Jon Jones.
That is 100% false.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. No,
Okay.
I was sitting in my room.
Oh, so this is true story.
Yeah, I was sitting in my room, man.
With
I was
Jon
sitting-
Jones?
No, not with Jon
okay.
Jones. I don't know. I don't.
All right.
I love Jon Jones, but outside the gym, I've never hung out with Jon Jones. 'Cause
Okay.
Jon Jones does Jon Jones things.
Oh.
Love the guy. Love that
You're
guy.
locked in, focused, trying to extend that winning streak.
No, 100%. I want to make sure. And honestly, I'm with my family. You know what I mean? My son was sick at the time. So I'm like, all right, we're just going to hang out here at the house. And honestly, I don't know if you guys heard anything, but I got a phone call from Hunter on like Monday, and it was like a little like tester. I'm like, hey, like what's this kid about? You know what I mean? And luckily I have a great manager. His name's Jason House. And I guess Hunter went to him. Iridium, yeah.
Okay, continue.
Yeah, Iridium. And Hunter calls Jason. He's like, tell me who you got that's gonna bring it on the White House. And he's like, Steve Garcia. I was like, Jason, my man. I was like, you did that. He says, that's the truth, bro. Like, you're just showing up. You're doing this thing. I was like, all right. Well, when that happened, he's like, I already have Hunter on the phone right now. I need you to talk to him right now. And I'm like an interview? He's like, yeah. He says, all right, Hunter, here's Steve. I was like, oh, man. I was like, dude. I was like, all right. He's like, Steve, you have 10 minutes. Tell me what you're about. I was like, nice to meet you. First of all, I've never met Hunter in my life, but thank you for calling, you know? And I honestly didn't really know what to say. I was like, sir, I don't know what you want to say. He's like, tell me about your family. I said, I got a wife and kid. Wife and 2 kids, actually. I got a son and I got a stepdaughter. And he's like, how about your parents? You know, I was like, I got both of those too. You know what I mean? And where are you from? I'm from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Oh, lived there forever? Yeah. Got a clean record? Yes, sir. I got
a clean record. You got to pass the security clearance.
Yeah.
You go into the White House, man.
My God.
Yeah.
No, but that's fair enough.
Yeah.
You can't have some guy with a
Do
check.
we really care about records if we're breaking jaws on the grass?
Well, it's a security clearance when they're going to have Donald Trump and God knows who else there. Can you imagine the kind of VIPs and the dignitaries and world leaders and stuff like that that are going to be there? So yeah, maybe they might do a background check to make sure you're not a crazy person.
They want to make sure I'm good.
There's no crazy people in the UFC.
Yeah, there's plenty of crazy people, but you know, you haven't got the potential to stick a stick of dynamite down your pants. Do you know what I'm saying?
Company man!
Why is that a company man?
Company man! All right, continue.
Because that made me a company man.
No, man, that makes
I mean, you stick up for the UFC like this. I love it, dude.
No. That makes fucking sense, bro.
Hey, that's business, bro. That's business right there.
I go to secondary inspection every time I enter this country because I got arrested for a couple of bar fights when I was a kid. I just flew in from London last night, spent 3 hours sitting there in a room full of Chinese and Indian people waiting for my turn, and they go, yeah, you're good, fine. Because you got to be, you know what I mean? Can't have any Tom, Dick and Harry showing up, and certainly not at the White House.
So you're not going to be announcing at the White House?
I'm going to fucking be there.
Hey, and he wants to be safe there too. So, you know,
So you're on an interview with Hunter Campbell.
Yeah, I am.
Interview for the White House. 100%. And then what happens next?
No, he's telling me all the stuff. And I was like, well, who am I fighting? He's like, potentially Diego Lopez. And I was like, let's freaking go. I was just hearing that name, I was just like through the roof. That's 100%. I was through the roof. The White House was like secondary. It's history. It's amazing. I'm excited, but the potential of having a good scrap with Diego, who just came off of a loss with Bulk, you know what I mean? Definitely can put me somewhere higher in the ranks, right? So I was excited, but then crickets, nothing. Like we end whatever. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, go. I'm like, frick. And then I'm hearing like social media. They're just like, yeah, this fight fell through. So I was like, well, maybe just not. Maybe they just wanted to see if I passed. I was like, maybe I didn't pass the interview. I don't know. So Saturday, I don't
know about this Steve guy.
Yeah, I was like, this guy sucks, bro. Anyways, so I'll go for a run, and I'm just like visualizing my name on the screen.
Yeah,
I'm going for this run, and I'm running hill sprints and stuff. And I hang out at the top of the mountain. You know, I'm grateful. I'm a man of faith and stuff. So I was hanging out there. I was like, God, if it's meant for me, I was like, open this door. If not, I'll find another door. And I don't know, I got some like peace at that moment. And I was like, I think I'm on this white card. I didn't hear nothing. Nobody told me anything. My manager hasn't called me, said I was on it, nothing. And I was like, all right. But my lady, she's like, I don't think you're on it, Steve. I don't think you're on it.
Why do women do that? Bring you back down to earth.
They did.
I get excited. My wife's always like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I'm like, anyway, carry on.
Dude, my lady's just like that. She's like, Steve, I don't want you to get your hopes up. I don't think it's going to happen.
No.
You know, and they're saying 6 fights or 7 fights, whatever the case was. And out of what, like almost 700 fighters, like I'm one of them. I was like,
everyone wants to be on it.
Everybody wanted to be on it. And I was like, I don't know if this is too good to be true. You know what I mean? That's how I felt when I talked to my lady. And like I said, my lady just trying to look out for me, not making sure that I'm not like so hopeful.
She's keeping you in check a little bit.
She's keeping me in check, but also just she don't want to see me hurt. You know what I mean? I get it.
You got to ride her.
She loves me, dude. Ride or die, no doubt about
Clyde.
it. 100%. That's my girl. And so Saturday comes, we're sitting down, and I don't know if it was you. Someone announced it, like, all right, we're gonna announce the White House card here, and like the next fight. I don't even remember who was going on. It was right before, like, I think the Rosas Jr. and like Rob Font card. And I'm sitting in the chair. And I was like, babe, they're gonna announce it. And again, she's like, babe, don't be upset if it doesn't happen, okay? Like, we'll figure it out afterwards. I was like, babe, it's fine. I'm not mad. Bro, obviously they did the intro. That thing, that poster, whatever, they put it on that screen. Steve Garcia, just like I envisioned it, like literally just on that mountain. Now, dude, I was through the roof. I ran because I have like a place where I keep all my hats, and I have America hat that I wear on 4th of July, dude. I ran and I was like showing it off. My wife's like seeing because I was through the roof, dude. I was through the roof. I was so happy and stuff, and then my phone blew up, dude. Literally like 10 calls all at once, 50, 60 messages within like 10 minutes. I was like, dude, this is crazy. And then obviously that's kind of how the story went down. But that was the day, man. That was the week, I should say.
You know why he's on the White House card? 19 wins, 15 knockouts, 7-fight win streak, all stoppages apart from one, taking out people like Melquizael Costa that's currently on a 5 or 6 fight win streak, all by the way of stoppage. And then you put him in there against Diego Lopez, one of the most exciting fighters in the division. This fight has been made for a reason. You want to start off this card with a ridiculous fight? That is it on paper. I don't know what it doesn't sound like you know much, but working for the UFC, I know a couple of little things, and I'm telling you, bro, this is gonna get off to a bang. This is insane. Congrats, man. This is a huge opportunity.
I appreciate
insane.
it.
And so we were talking about people we're gonna have on the podcast, and I'm like, dude, we got to get this guy on here. Obviously, Diego Lopez is one of our guys.
For sure.
I love Diego Lopez. I think he's a dog. 2-time title challenger, number 2 in the rankings. You're number 9 in the rankings.
Yes, sir.
When you look at this fight, do you feel like an underdog, even though you're on an insane win streak?
100%, man. I feel like I'm B-side. I feel like there's a lot of Americans that are kind of B-side. I think we need to kind of step it up. But if there's somebody,
who's we?
Okay, now, well, I mean, you see,
when
like
you
everybody, I was like, that's the only guy that I'm really gonna just like kind of throw out there because everybody has the potential to win. I see Justin Gaethje being the hardest one, right? Because everybody sees Topuria, and Topuria is just like this gangster. But if anybody can do it, I think Gaethje can do it. But it's up to me. I got to start it off, right?
Yep.
I got to get this party going. I was telling Brett earlier. I was like, dude, this is the Olympics, bro, for me. I was like, I got to show up. I got to put out. Like I said, I'm actually a Diego Lopez fan, but I'm an even bigger Steve Garcia fan.
Of course.
You know what I mean? I got to make sure that I show up, one, for my career, for just everybody. I feel like I have like USA on my back.
Yeah.
And I got to provide for my family, man. This is how I do. And honestly, that's what everything comes back to. You know, I had a few bumpy moments here in my career, but when you really put things in perspective, man, I'm like, my family eats better if I win. And they eat even better when I knock people out because they start handing out these bonus checks.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure that like I set up, and honestly, when you're at the beginning, you're not making a ton of money. You know what I mean? You're making a decent amount of money, but I feel like you really make money when you get those bonuses. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going for it. Gotta go for it. Go for broke. Let's go get these wins. Let's go get these knockouts. That third check is almost like a must for me. And I at least want to be able to throw my name in the hat. You know what I mean? Because I know they only give out 3 of them sometimes, and I've been a winner of a few of them.
Well, there's not an MMA fan on the planet that isn't a fan of Diego Lopez, right? Everyone loves his style. I mean, look at that win that he had against Jon Silva. That spinning back elbow was unbelievable, right?
Fun fight.
Lost to Volkanovski a couple of times. Other than that, he's been incredible. You go out there, you've got a really good style to mix with him, to stand there and trade. You're good on the ground. You've got good wrestling. You've got excellent momentum. You're on a 7-fight win streak. You've got the power.
Yeah.
You beat Diego Lopez, the first fight on the White House card. I am telling you, there is nothing but gigantic things in the future. This is a life-changing opportunity for you.
I wish Volk would be right there at the front. I want them to put him right there in the front.
You recently had some interactions with Volk on the internet. It seems like the internet kind of got a little upset with you.
Bro, their fans are like diehard. Like, for
Volk's a legend.
He's 100%. He's not my legend, like my GOAT, but he's definitely a legend for sure. I will always give him his flowers, always give him his respect, but yeah, dude, I said something like, I'm like, bro, this dude's too busy cooking. That's literally all I said. I was like,
yeah.
He's too busy cooking. I was like, let's get this thing going. And I know that has a little bit to do with the UFC and the movement going on up at top. But like in my head, I'm like, bro, there's people that are trying to get going. And right now, it looks good right now. So Murphy and Evlov just fought.
Yep.
You got Zalal and Sterling going. So there's some movement going on, right? And now me and Lopez. But at the time, it was just like at a big standstill. And I'm like, well, how am I supposed to advance my career? How am I supposed to get going when the champ isn't like accepting challengers? I was like, because I'm going to be one.
Yep.
But will I have that chance to fight Volk? I don't know if he's going to be around.
Not that I'm here to defend Volk, but he did just fight in, what was it, Feb 1st?
Yeah.
And I think he injured his hand or something, but he did just fight literally last month, to be fair. But I hear what you're saying. I remember when he fought Max Holloway, I think, for the first time, and it was a really close fight, and it could have gone either way. And I was saying on the commentary that I thought that Holloway got it.
I agree.
And then I had to do the post-fight show as well. And Volkanovski came up. And I'm like, shit, well, he's got to watch the fight back. Of course he is. So unless I repeat my line, what I said, that I thought Holloway won, I look like a two-faced guy, not a real man. So I said, with all respect, I said it on the broadcast, so I got to say it to you. What do you think about this comment that I thought, it was a close fight, it was a great fight, but I edged it towards Holloway. I said, I'm only saying that because I said it on the broadcast, so I've got to be man enough to say it to your face. And to your point about the fans, holy shit. Australia came for me, man.
Yeah.
The DMs were nasty. And I get it, they love the guy. Wow. But I wasn't trying to be a dick by saying that, but it's like, as a man, I got to be a man enough to say it to your face.
You have to stick to your guns, man. Like if you don't, then like, I mean, for men, all we got is our word sometimes. You know what I mean? Especially you're going to put in positions where like you literally have to like know what you're saying. And if you're saying it, you got to back it up. Yeah. Because if you don't, then you sound like you're kind of going back and forth. This guy's wishy-washy. You don't want to be that guy. You know what I mean?
You mentioned that you feel the Americans are the B-side. Now that the fight is locked in and the narrative is set, how do you flip that?
You go out there and you whoop some ass. That's how you flip that. I mean, there's nothing else you can do about it. You know what I mean? I gotta work my way, through this camp, make sure I stay as injury-free as possible, and I got to show up, man. There's really nothing else about it. I mean, they put these fighters on this card because they know we're going to show out. Obviously, Hunter's asking for that. They're like, they called my manager, like, who is just going to show up? I'm like, the guy that was showing up at the Apex where there was nobody. And that's what I told him. I was like, I've literally been showing up at the Apex. You don't think I'm going to show up at the White House? I was like, you're crazy if you don't think I'm going to go out there and fight with everything I got at the White House. 100%.
The vetting process for people to get on the White House card, you're talking about this direct call with Hunter Campbell. Did they also have to then reach back out to your manager, Jason House and Iridium, to put this fight together? Because I know you and Diego are both on Iridium.
Yeah, man. I mean, I kind of checked in with him. I'm like, you good? Because like, obviously, like that's their boy too, And he's like, and honestly, this is where
manager managing both sides of the card.
Hey,
that's some Don King stuff. Jason House is some Don King.
He's going to do very well out of it.
He is going to do well.
He can't lose.
Yeah.
Let me FaceTime Jason House while you're talking real quick.
Okay. But yeah,
Is he going to do that?
Yeah. I got to ask Don King how he gets away with this. He kills it.
Man.
He be doing the best bookings I've ever seen.
Yeah,
no doubt. Because you guys are all dogs,
No doubt about it, brother.
No, he ain't gonna answer. He know you on the pod. I might hit him with something crazy. Oh, he did answer, and I hung up on him. But continue. I want to hear how that worked out.
No, well, I called him back. I'm like, hey, man, I know this is your boy. I was like, is you good with this? I was like, because I know, like, ultimately, this is a chance of a lifetime for me. And this is what he told me. This is how real he is. He's like, Steve, he says, it is my job as a manager to take care of you and to take care of him.
Yep.
I don't care.
Yeah. Continue.
Yeah. What's up, Jay?
Hey, you're live on the podcast. I got Bisping here. I got your man over here, and we're calling you the Don King of the UFC because I've never seen a guy who puts together the best
Hold on. He's calling you the Don King of MMA, not me.
Yeah, Ben's kind of throwing you to the bus here, bud.
No, I love it. I said that you continuously, time and time again, help put together some of the best cards because you got two of the best fighters in the game, Diego and Garcia. And we were talking about Hunter calling him, and he's sitting on the couch, and I'm like, yo, your man's going to give you a little, like, hey, we already got the contract and signed. You're fighting? Like, you just let your mans find out by watching TV?
When the moment strikes, the moment strikes.
Hey, is it hard, real quick, before we jump back in this pod, is it hard managing two fighters on the same card, especially being the White House card?
No, I mean, honestly, it's the best opportunity for both of them. I mean, this is what it's about. I mean, they're the next two in line. I mean, having management shouldn't prevent you from an opportunity. It should help you get an opportunity, and that's what we did. We helped them both get the opportunity they needed to be at the White House and fight in front of one of the biggest audiences in the history of the sport. I mean, I love it.
Yeah, but
Where
you can't
Diego
argue
came
with
from,
what
to
he's
see where
saying.
Steve
Yeah.
came from, so much adversity. I mean, Steve was on the brink of being cut after Singapore, and now look at him. I mean, he's a true testament to perseverance and staying through it. And honestly, I get emotional thinking about it, and I'm just very proud to be at that event with some of my best people on that card.
You might be the #1 manager in the MMA space worldwide, guaranteed. Not only with the way you were able to rifle that off right now, like you were promoting, but just the fact that you put together time and time the best card. So we appreciate you, Jaxxon. We love what Iridium does. We love seeing the way you guys take care of your fighters. Most importantly, I love the way your fighters talk about you when you're not in the room. So for anybody out there looking for a manager, this guy is one of the best to ever do it. Iridium, Jaxxon House. All right, I'll call you later. Thank you, brother.
Okay, bye.
I think that was the deal with most people, though, because obviously this is such a once in a lifetime event. A lot of fighters, from what I understand, weren't aware until like the final bell, and in fact, in some cases, until it got announced, they were still kind of sitting around waiting and wondering. They've agreed. They said, "Yeah, I'd love to do it," and it was only when they announced it.
I want to know who fell off. That's because I don't know who fell off. Do you know who fell off? Does Michael Bisping know who fell off? That is the question.
I saw a post yesterday that said that Islam was sleeping when he was told that he might be fighting Ilya, and by the time he woke up from his sleep, the fight was no longer available. Did you see that?
It must be that.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Believe everything
we
you
don't
read
know.
online, of course.
Okay.
I mean, I would love to have seen Islam and Ilya fight. I thought
Yeah,
that
yeah,
would've
so
been
would
insane.
I mean, who doesn't want to see that?
I think it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen
and
at
I
some
think it
point.
will if they both win their next
Yeah.
fights.
It's gonna happen.
Then
I would have loved to have seen Armin fight for the title at the White House. That would have been insane.
saying that though, Ilya has to fight Justin.
Yeah.
He's the interim
Yeah.
champion. Otherwise, we start going down this whole Jon Jones, Tom Aspinall situation again, where it kind of delegitimizes the interim strap. If you become the interim champion and you're healthy and you want to go, you got to fight the undisputed. Simple as that.
There's no way around that.
I mean, there is ways around that because we've seen it done. We've seen Tom defend against Curtis Blades while Jones was, I don't know what he was doing. I'm not here to talk shit about Jones, but he was not fighting. So,
What do you feel about Diego's style? I mean, he's very, very creative as a striker, and in the division, he's one of the best. You've been on this tear, and you stand right in front of people and bang with the best of them. I mean, what you did to Chase Hoover, I love Chase.
Yeah,
Chase
he's
is
great.
amazing.
Yeah, he's cool.
But, I mean, you were putting it on him and then allowing him to get back to his feet so you could put it on him again. I mean, people don't have an answer to that creative striking and the way you just sit there and bang. What do you think is going to happen with you and Diego?
I think he's gonna join me, and we're gonna have a good scrap there in the middle. I think someone's gonna have to take a back step. You know what I mean? That's what it's gonna come down to. He sits on the shots. He hits really hard, but I don't know who's hit him the way I hit people. That's where we're gonna find out, right? So like, I know Ortega's cracked him. Volk's cracked him. I still think I hit harder than those guys. I do. I think I hit harder than those guys. Obviously, he hits hard because he's dropped several people. He knocked out, I think, Saduk. Was it Saduk? Yeah, I think he knocked out Saduk.
Youssef.
Obviously, he hit Gene Silva with that spinning elbow. He is creative. He's very good at understanding what's going on in the fight. He knows when, I think with Ige, he shot in on that third round. Yeah, man. Like I said, this dude, there's a reason why he's one of the best.
The thing with the Volk fight, the one that just went down, obviously he wanted to be Diego Lopez. He wanted to be crazy and go forward and swing. And he was willing to tear it up, and let the chips fall. Yeah. But Volk is so smart and such an expert at footwork. He wasn't able to. Every time he'd try and swarm Volkanovski just wasn't there. He would angle off, he would pivot off, he would step away. He would play it smart. Yeah. He played it smart and he picked him apart over 5 rounds and made it really frustrating for Lopez.
Were you able to call that one?
Yeah, I was there, yeah. But you're saying you're going to go forward, you're going to meet him in the middle.
I think that's the way how you
throw down.
I mean, I think
that's why this is opening up the White House.
100%. I was going to say, I was like, that's how you start this off.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, someone's going to fall. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's got to be me or him. You know what I mean? But ultimately, I'm a Steve Garcia fan, man. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to freaking give it hell. Like if everybody gives this guy too much respect, I understand why though.
Sure.
But I mean, I'm not going to count myself out before I go out there. I mean, like, what would that say about me? You know what I mean? I said I can stand in there. I got a chin. I promise you, I got a left hand that will sit anybody else down. I can hit you in the body. I can hit you in the head. I can kick your leg. I can kick you in the head. It doesn't really matter. I'm not gonna count myself out. If I'm gonna count myself out, I would just call Jaxxon. I'm like, bro, hey, let's just find a different matchup. I'm not that type of guy. I'm like, bro, like you gotta accept these challenges. I've been down and out before. I have. Like, I've been the underdog almost all my life. Everybody's always counting me out. And they're still saying I can't do it. You know what I mean? I'm just going to have to keep going out there and proving it. And what's cool is that, like what Mike was saying, is that all eyes will be on this card. So what better day to shine than Freedom 250?
Yeah, and being the underdog your whole life and people counting you out. I mean, that's all people ever did to me.
It's normal.
Said I wasn't good enough, I wasn't big enough, I wasn't strong enough, I didn't deserve it. I was just getting layups by the company and all the rest of it. And yeah, I lost a few fights along the way. Sure. But you don't give up on yourself and you keep pushing and you keep fighting. And then if you work hard enough and it's meant to be, it'll fucking happen. And 100%. Now it's going to happen at the White House. And if you do it in style, I mean, bro, the featherweight division's crazy right now, but you get a big win at the White House, that's going to put you in front of a lot of other people because 100%. The eyes are going to be on you. You'll be going to anywhere on the planet and people will be like, oh shit, that's the guy that opened the White House card. Yep. I'm telling you.
I'm the first fight. Everybody's gonna tip. I hope people will be excited to watch it. You know what I mean? There's only 6 fights, so it's not like they're gonna miss a fight. No. They're gonna watch all of them.
And I'm not saying anything, but I've heard some of the stuff they're gonna do to start the event. It's insane. It is mind-blowing.
Will this be the biggest spectacle in the history of MMA?
I don't see how you can outdo this.
Like, it's gonna outshine Noche.
As I say,
outshine 300.
Obviously, I've heard a couple of things, right? From good sources, very, very good sources of things that are going to happen. And it's just going to be mind-blowing. I'm in no position to be releasing that stuff and spoiling it. That's all to be surprises and stuff. But the production levels of what they're doing and the extra touches of what they're doing. I mean, Dana's already spoke about, there's going to be 85,000 people across the street at the Ellipse. There's going to be all kinds of functions going on there and a lot of fun and fan interaction and engagements. And it's just going to be a huge
I heard Trump say that people are going to walk into the Oval Office. They're going to get taped up and wrapped in the Oval Office and then walk to the cage.
Hey, Trump knows better than me.
That's crazy.
I've never been to the White House, so I don't know.
Bisping, as a world champion, you see fights a lot different from guys who are just fans of fighting like myself. And I'm in here all day long with the Hamzat camp and the Armin camp, and I get to watch people with Coach Perillo every day of my life for the last couple years. And then I go to fights. Obviously, I'm not seeing it and feeling it the way you do as a world champion. As a world champion, how do you sit down and say, as a guy of your caliber, how do you sit down if you're in his position and say, all right, this is the guy I'm fighting. This is what he didn't do successful to Volk. Do you mimic Volk's style because you found someone who found a weakness? Do you say, hey, this guy's good no matter what, I still need to stick to my game? How do you dissect this going into the biggest fight of your career?
Yeah, to answer your question, I don't think you do. And I think you'd say the same thing because you're not Alexander Volkanovski. Volkanovski's got incredible boxing. He's got awesome footwork. That's one of the things that is very underrated that people don't realize. He's a master of footwork. He really is. And he was just getting out the way of Lopez and just frustrating him a little bit. I'm sure you've got great footwork, but that's not how you fight. You're the mean machine. You go forward. You'll meet them right in the center and throw down. You believe in yourself. If there's a takedown there, take it. Get on top, choke them out, elbow them, whatever. But I don't think you're going to try and replicate what Volkanovski did because that's not who you are at your core. You can't change. You don't look at something and go, right, this is the way to beat the guy. Say, right, how do I, with my style, beat this guy?
100%.
And then for you, Garcia, do you look at like the specific problems that Diego caused other fighters that he's beaten? Like, how do you study tape on a fighter?
What's nice is I got Greg Jaxxon, and this dude is like, his IQ when it comes to fighting is just like crazy through the roof. We've probably dissected at least 6 fights already. We go through the whole thing.
Oh, so you're doing in-depth research.
Yeah, well, he mainly just like does it all. He turns down the volume on everything because he wants no bias sort of input on the fight. And he just wants to watch it, and he'll just watch over and over again. He'll rewind it over and over again. I do the same thing. He's kind of taught me how to do it, but it's cool when we get together. And then obviously we'll get with Wing 2, which is my striking coach, and I kind of get his input on all of it. But when it comes to strategy and everything like that, Greg's been the main guy that puts the puzzle pieces together to come up with the game plan that suits me best. And I kind of like what you just said because, you know what, I'm not going to go out there and fight a Volkanovski fight. I mean, he has excellent footwork. That people don't highlight that enough. That's what makes him great, I think. Yeah. He doesn't have spectacular knockouts. He has great timing, good footwork, and he knows how to land shots and make him count. You know what I mean? He's a champ. Yeah. But I have a question for you.
Please.
What's different from being a champ and not being a champ? besides obviously having a belt?
What's different from being a champ to not being a champ? Oh, man, I mean, that's a podcast in itself, but like everything changes. Once you become the champion, you work your whole life to get to this stage, and then you get there, and then it's nothing but the hardest fights.
Okay.
It's nothing but the hardest fights after that, because everyone wants to be who you are. They want that belt. They want the title. They want the reputation around the world. They want to be the number one guy. They want to be the champion of the world. So from there, yeah, it's great. You climb this mountain, you get to the top, and it's like, shit, there's another 6 mountains that you got to climb every time, because every fight that you win, like a title defense, is like winning the belt all over again. It's always at stake. So everything just goes up to the next level. You know, for me, it wasn't the longest run. I had one eye, and you know, I defended it once and then lost to GSP, and I was like, that's when I walked away from the sport. I wish I could have stuck around longer, but yeah, I mean, everything just gets, obviously the money gets better. You know, the money's great. Absolutely. You know. The pressure, maybe. I don't know about that. I never really feel pressure. I felt pressure just like you feel pressure.
Yeah.
You feel pressure to feed your family. You feel pressure to make money.
Yeah.
Feel pressure to validate this life where you sacrifice so much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can go off and do anything else you want. The amount of time it takes to do this living, to really sacrifice and do, you could fucking go to school and become anything. You could build any other career, but you do this. And that's why I respect fighters so much, because for some of them, they get 15 years into a journey and it's never going to happen. But by then, they're too far down the road. They can't turn back, you know? Gotcha. It's a wild ride.
So when you, because I had this question, I talked to Greg, but I want to hear your perspective on it, because when you get the title, I guess we're all chasing the title, right? Are we in it for the chase? Because when you get the title, then what? Is there a moment when
when then you want to defend it.
Like that's like your next thing. Like, I can't wait to defend it. Okay.
Because some people say you're not the champ until you defend it.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
Do you believe that?
Yeah.
Do you believe you're not really the champion until you've defended it at least once?
I think you've got to go on a run of some sort.
Really?
To prove that you are an established champion. With the belt,
Gotcha.
You don't think it's enough just to win the belt?
No, it is. It is. Yeah. I'm not taking anything away from any one-time champions.
Yeah.
But it's certainly better when you defend it a bunch of times and say, hey,
like,
anyone on the planet.
Yeah.
Anyone on the planet at this weight class, bring them all on. I'll fucking beat them, you know? And hey.
Bisping, do you look at fighting differently, though, in terms of your actual style? Like when you go to fight after holding the belt, it's a lot more defensive. You're like, hey, I just want to get through this. I'm the guy. This guy has to beat me. Does that mess with your head?
Well, GSP famously back in the day, he kind of changed up his style. And he said that because he had the pressure of being the champion, the pressure of being the biggest star in Canada, the pressure of multi-million-dollar endorsements coming in left, right, and center. And one fight you lose, all that goes away. So then he went from having this very karate-focused style to shooting a lot of takedowns and wrestling a lot of people and slightly more boring fights. But I get it. I understand, because all of a sudden you're not just a champion anymore. You become a brand in yourself, you know? So
you're trying to protect what you got at that point.
Yeah. But
Greg told me the same thing. It was like, he calls it champitis. He says where people are no longer trying to go get something because they already have it. And now they're trying to defend what they already got. Because there's only one way down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're at the top now. So like there's only one way to go. So
and it's very easy to go down, because
100%.
every person that you're fighting, they're like looking at you as the life-changing opportunity. They're leaving no stone unturned. That's why you gotta like tip your hat to people like Jon Jones that defended the belt so many times, that reportedly wasn't necessarily putting in the hours in the training camp and all the rest of it, and you know, doing this and doing that, and still beating number one contenders.
Still beating everybody.
Insane.
Does Jon Jones get way too much crap? Like, does the internet,
I don't know.
The MMA community just really give it to him way too much because of how good he is, or how good he could have been, or the idea of not fighting, you know, Aspinall? Like, do we give him enough credit as being the GOAT?
Well, Steve could probably answer. I mean, I have my opinion, but I'll let you go first. It's probably not enough.
I mean, he's from your gym, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a JW icon right there.
Yeah. I mean, how much more how much better can he do? You know what I mean? Like you kind of asked, what more does he have to do? Does he have to finish to be even better than what he already is? Obviously, I know the little tainted situations with like the drug testing, the picograms, the cocaine.
Cocaine. I mean, when you're scratching the surface, you could go on all day.
There's a few things, but that you can never take away what he's accomplished in that cage. At the end of the day, that you put that man in a room with almost anybody.
Yeah.
That dude's coming out.
Yeah.
That dude's coming out.
Yeah.
And I've yet to meet a man. I mean, Cormier was like the closest guy to it, and he dropped the ball twice.
Have you trained with him? How long have you been at JW?
For a long time. 15 years.
15 years. So you were there during the heyday of Jon Jones fighting in the UFC.
I was. You couldn't move in the gym. It was just crazy.
Yeah, back then it was like a crazy factory.
Oh my God,
top
it was crazy.
In like 2008, 2009.
Yeah, like you were honest, people were getting injured.
Do you remember who was in there?
Yeah, man, you had Diego Sanchez, Diego Brandao, John Dodson. You had Leonard Garcia. You had Cowboy Cerrone.
George St. Pierre, Rashad Evans, Jon Jones.
Yeah, everybody that you really, I guess, think of when you think about back in the day.
Yeah,
they were there. You know what I mean? And a lot of people that always went in and out, like Dariush would come in and out. Sayer came in and out. Arlovsky was a staple there for a long time. But I've never really trained with Jon Jones. Like he's just way too big.
Yeah, of course.
But we would like mess around, because Jon is very playful. Like I said, I can't really ever speak for Jon Jones outside the gym.
Got it.
But what I will say inside the gym is he was a leader, one of the hardest workers in the gym, and he was very like caring. And if I ever had a question, like I remember when I had the call, it was like a 4-day notice for my UFC debut, and I was like, "Hey man," I was like, "You got any pointers?" He's like, "Yeah, when's the fight?" And I was like, "Dude, it's like Saturday," and it was like Tuesday, and he says, "He said, get this right, get that right." He says, "I don't care. You can't do nothing else right now." He says, You're gonna go in that with what you got. I was like, make sure your mind is good. I was like, because honestly, if it's not good, you're gonna be out of there right away. Mm-hmm. And I was like, all right, cool. And that was like my hardest battle because most of my confidence comes from my training, like 100%. Most of my confidence comes from that. So if I get like a short camp, sometimes it kind of messes me a little bit. I have to dial in certain ways. But for that one, it was just like, dude, I'm gonna go out there and just go for it. You know what I mean? I have nothing to lose. This guy over here, it was Luis Pena, Violent Bob Ross coming out of the. He was good, man, and he came out of the Ultimate Fighter. I guess nobody wanted to take that fight, and I was like, all right, I'm in. So Jon just giving me that advice really helped me. It was like, and even in the back, I was like, gosh, man, I was like, I didn't even train for this guy. I was literally sitting at my desk at my work, and they gave me the phone call, and I was like, let's just go for it. What do I gotta lose? So I literally went out there. I was just trying to swing, bro. I was just throwing leather, and he took me down because he's like, I called. We talked in the back, and he's like, he called me a few times. He says, I had to control you. He says, honestly, a lot of people didn't know you, but I know who you were. And then I almost subbed him in the third, and I could hear him gurgling and everything, but the hair, bro, the hair. Anyways. Jon helped me with that, but he was always like pro team. Like
it's a bit of both.
What's your opinion on him?
Yeah, it's a bit of both. I mean, some people don't give him the credit he deserves. Mm-hmm. I mean, he went through multiple generations of champions. Contenders, one after the other. Yeah. And a lot of the time made it look easy and beat them at their own style. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of people that forget that. There's a lot of new fans that don't realize like what he was doing back in the day. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Then on the flip side, there is the asterisk, there is the picograms, there is all that shit. And as a guy that's always been very anti-doping, there's definitely that, okay? And we'll leave that there because I don't want to shit on his career, but you can't not mention it, All the other stuff outside of the octagon, right? I couldn't give a fuck about any of that, right? We're all human beings. We all make mistakes. There's no one perfect out there. And I think he even said himself, he's got a lot of demons. We've all got a lot of demons. I mean, the fact that we step foot in an octagon and we choose to do this for a living, right? We all have some kind of traumas, all have something going on upstairs. So none of us are perfect, and he's made a lot of mistakes, and, and I'm sure he feels terrible about them. I'm sure. Yeah. Fucking hell, he didn't plan on those things happening, but, alcohol abuse, substance abuse, things going on upstairs.
100%.
Jesus Christ, man.
I talked
no one's perfect. So for that shit, I couldn't care less.
Yeah.
Well, it's not that I couldn't care less, but you understand what I'm saying.
It shouldn't play into the accolades of what he did in the cage.
No. Yeah, well said.
Yeah.
But most fighters need that little bit of crazy.
Yeah. They need the edge.
The fighters that have that, the ones that are all tucked up in bed by 9 o'clock every night and having the vitamins and doing all this and the super boring and all the rest of it, you don't want to see those guys fight because they're probably going to be boring. And B, most of the time, they're not successful. I mean, come on. Look at what's he called from the golf world. Tiger Woods. Mr. fucking squeaky clean. What was he doing secretly?
He was living. He just had enough money to make sure it was never on camera.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we've all got our fucking demons. And I'm telling you, if you're going to fight for a living, there's some craziness going on up there.
I was on we have the other show, the Jaxxon Sports Podcast, and it's with myself and a moto icon named Twitch, who's one of the greatest to ever do it in freestyle motocross. Ryan Sheckler, one of the greatest to ever do it in skateboarding. And Tyler Bierman, another motocross freestyle expert who just does like insane tricks. He just did a Red Bull video island hopping with Apple. So we bring in all these different icons. We just had, Jeff Raleigh, who's from the UK, and he loves Bisping. He loves Bisping. This guy is like a complete skateboarding icon and loves Patty the Batty. He grew up right down the street where Patty the Batty.
Nice.
And we were talking about the edge, and we were talking about how you guys are like modern day gladiators, and that's like the Coliseum. And we get to watch for sport and for fun and for a hobby. We get to watch two guys. It's not skateboarding where they need to have a live audience, or freestyle motocross. They can go right in the hills. This is a sport where your practices don't count. Your gym time doesn't really get seen. What matters is when you step in the cage, and it's two different lives. There's people that I've watched over the years that we sponsor that are amazing at practice. They kill everybody in the gym, but the minute the lights are on, they freeze. They don't perform the way they perform. I mean, Perillo's walked me through a ton of these guys. I've seen a lot of these guys. You see the Hamzat camp. Like, it's modern day gladiators, and what you guys are doing in there is unreal, and it's unfathomable. So to be able to de-stress from that, and I'm not going to compare it to war, but like these guys that go and protect our country and our freedom and are, in battle, they come back, they have this post-traumatic syndrome because they're like, dude, I was just with my best friend watching his arm get blown off or hearing bombs. And it's craziness to think about. The modern mind can't think about this. It's the same thing with fighting. Imagine coming home and being like, all right, well, some guy was trying to literally kill me in front of 100,000 people and the whole world was watching. Now I got to just de-stress for a week. What am I supposed to do? And it's like, a lot of times that's why partying and drugs and alcohol get into the way of a lot of top name fighters. And I don't think people see that.
Yeah, you bring up a fair point, but also with the popularity of the sport. And then obviously as you get successful, then you get other people around you that aren't the best. The best examples, they're leading you down a dark path. I mean, I remember when I won the Ultimate Fighter, Dana gave a big speech to everyone. He said, you're going to make a lot of new friends. He said, typically, these aren't going to be good friends that you want hanging around. You got the hangers on, you got the people that want something from you, leeching from you. That's why I always kept a very small circle, because as soon as these new friends come along, and I see it these days, actually, I think last week, I don't want to name names, but there's been a few fighters recently on the post-fight speeches have said it, and they've been very emotional and breaking down in tears. And when they've lost, they were winning fights, and they had this whole new circle, and thought, wow, I've made all these new friends, and I'm super successful. And then they lose fights, and then they're gone. They're gone. They don't give a shit about you. They're just riding your coattails.
Unreal.
100%.
I know someone who really does care about you. Once again, Jason House. And I know a story. You were in Bellator. You were making 1,000 and 1,000, right? 1-1.
My first fight in the Bellator was 1-1.
Right. So that's not the most expensive payday, right? That's not the biggest prize.
No, it's not, but that's how it starts. That's Bellator.
Yeah,
that's not the UFC, but typically regional scene, that's how it goes.
And
man.
so you ran through that for quite a while, went through an agency, didn't get a fight for a year, where it was like, where are you going to go from here? Then Jason House calls you and is like, yo, dude, I can help you. And within 3 days, got you in the UFC.
Yeah, man. I had a buddy. He was also in the UFC, Joby Sanchez, and he was managed under Jason. And he's like, dude, I know this guy. I don't know what you pay your manager right now, but he says this is how much he pays. You want to talk to him? And I was like, yeah. I was like, my coach was getting me all these fights, and he was actually creating promotions so that I could be on them, so that I could headline them, so that I could honestly have a chance. That's my coach right there. That's Wink right there. And I even think he would lose money sometimes just with the production, having to have insurance, just all the details that go into having their own organization or promotion, trying to get fights in New Mexico.
Wink was putting on these fights?
Yeah.
Like at the gym?
Just for like people like me.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, cool. It's at the gym right now, but he would go to casinos. A little bit bigger than Smokers.
Okay.
Smokers back in my day when I fought Smokers, it was like 250 people in the gym.
Yeah.
These ones you're going to like the casinos and you're getting at least 3,000 people in there. So yeah, it's big. APFC is actually going to these places and stuff in Albuquerque. So it's kind of like that.
Pettis' organization.
Yeah. So they were just there last week.
Got it.
So it was great.
So he was putting these on for you.
He was putting these on for me. Some of the guys too that he was hoping that you don't push and stuff.
Give them a platform.
Trying to, because honestly, it's so hard, especially in the regional scene. Back in the day, we just fought whoever. When I was coming up in the amateurs, I fought anybody they put in front. I remember my first fight, like they line us all up and they're like, you're fighting this guy, you're fighting this guy, you're fighting this guy. You guys all weigh the same. That's how we got lined up. I didn't get to pick this guy. I didn't get told who I was fighting.
So you had no idea on the style.
Nothing. Just went in there. That's who I fight. Nothing. Yeah. Nothing. And fast forwarding it now, you know what I mean? I had a hard time finding fights because I just got out of Bellator and they wanted to see a few more fights because they wanted me to go up to 45. And at the time I wasn't ready. So when I got out, I told Wink, I was like, I'm gonna try to go to the UFC. I was like, I'm not going back there. I was like, you know what? I've been there, done that. Let's go further, you know? Nothing was happening. It was bad. And my wife's like, well, Steve, like, I'm going to support you and stuff, but like, we need to figure this out. And I told her, I was like, if I'm not in the UFC by 30, I'm going to hang him up. And so Wink's putting on these these fight cards for me. I'm getting on them. I'm winning. I actually won almost all of them. I had one loss, but at the end, there's one where I was like, if I can't beat this guy, I'm just going to hang it. I was like, I can't beat nobody in the UFC if I can't beat this guy. You know what I mean? It was like one of those moments. So I have Wink out here trying to build me up. And so we get the wins. Now we have the management. And now I'm able to go into the UFC. And now I get a test. I get a test. Like, are you UFC quality or not? And I knew I was always good to be there. But this is kind of where my mindset was, and it wasn't the best at that time. So when I fought Pena, I lost, but it was 4 days. I'm like, whatever. Like, throw that. I was like, I don't feel like a UFC fight till I win. So it was always those short-term goals all the time. And then after that, I had a layoff, but I was dealing with like some medical stuff. I had like a fungus going in my gut. I had a lot of things going on. Then I go to Singapore, and this is kind of where we're talking about where like I kind of hit this road. And, you know, no excuses. He beat me fair and square.
Who did you fight in Singapore?
I fought Mahashate.
Oh,
that's like the first time I really like talked to you because you were running in the morning.
To you and your dad.
Yeah, I had a fracture in my collarbone.
Oh shit!
Going into that fight, but it was COVID. My wife just got laid off because she didn't get the shot or whatever. And somebody's got to figure out how to make money, right? So I'm like, all right, I got the shot, and I went out there and kind of, you know, had a little shitstorm.
Yeah.
Whatever. You know what I mean? And I remember sitting there, Jason's right here, and dude, clear as day. And I hold it, I like, it's almost like my baby where I hold on to it because we're sitting on the bench. I lost. And again, I'm injured or whatever. And I'm sitting there and I'm just like, I lost my job. I just lost my job. And like, Jason's like looking at me because he was in my corner. He's in my corner and he's like, Steve, just don't worry about that right now. Don't worry about that right now. I was like, dude, I just lost my job, dude. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I was like, I worked my ass off to get here. My wife just lost her job. Just all this just like nonsense, right? And so I get a call. Obviously, I handle the collarbone thing or whatever. I get a call from Jason. He says, I got you a mulligan. He says, I normally don't ask for these. He says, and it's rare when I get it, but we got one. And he said, we got a tough fight. We got Chase Hooper. I didn't care who it was. I was like, I promise you.
And Chase was flying at
Dude,
the time.
He was on fire.
He was submitting everyone.
I was definitely
beating the shit out of people.
Yeah, he was here on the podcast before that fight.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because when you look at Chase, you know, respectfully to Chase, like if I was a fighter, I'd be like, I'm gonna kill this guy.
Yes, 100%.
You know what I'm saying?
100%, dude. And honestly, I told Jason this. I was like, I promise you, I'm not gonna embarrass you. I was like, I'm gonna make this up to you. I was like, I'm not gonna make you regret this. I promise you. He's like, I believe you, Steve. I believe you. And I went out there and history was made. You know what I mean? I went out there, dropped him like 3 times. And, you know, it's been a run ever since. You know what I mean? So that's how.
Did someone really try to sue the gaming commission or the sporting commission after you beat them in Bellator?
Yeah. The athletic commission in Dallas, Fort Worth. Yeah. Okay. I fought a guy. He was.
So was the athletic commission got sued?
Yeah, they got sued. I broke this guy's face in like 3 different areas, and he had a bunch of reconstructive surgeries and stuff. And
so basically, the referee never stopped it soon enough.
Yeah.
So the guy sued the commission because obviously he felt that it was his fault that he was such a mess.
Yeah, I didn't.
Bellator or UFC?
I didn't follow up.
Bellator.
It was a win to get in. So it was like Bellator. All the brass was there watching me fight.
Right,
and I went out there, and that's how it was. And I fought, and it was almost like, "Are you good enough to be with us?" type of thing.
Yeah.
And I went out there. I did my thing, but yeah, that was kind of a shit show for sure.
Have you ever heard about something like that?
No, never.
I've never ever heard that.
I heard the New York State Athletic Commission got sued by a boxer. Just Google this. I think they got paid like $20 million because a boxer. I don't want to say this wrong. He maybe died or got brain damage.
The New York State Athletic Commission has faced a significant lawsuit regarding negligence, settling for $22 million in 2017 after boxer Magomed Abdulamev suffered brain damage due to failed medical supervision in 2013.
And guess where I fought in 2017? Madison Square Garden with one fucking eye. Let me tell you, making it to that fight, ooh, baby, we had to jump through some fucking hoops.
Oh my God! How did you even get approved to fight?
Well, I'm not gonna say it, but I had to. If there was a world record for jumping through hoops, lying to people, doing this, doing that,
you wanted to fight that bad,
bro.
You had one eye.
I had surgery on the eye just to make it look. I was on holiday in Hawaii with my family, and I was like, because I used to have a drain. I had a big plastic drain sticking out of the eye, and I'm like, right, well, they're not, clearly they're going to look at the eye and be like, bro, you got a drain in your eye. So I left my family in Maui, flew back, did a surgery to remove the drain and all kinds of shit. And there was a lot of other stuff, but it was because of that lawsuit.
Do you have any visibility out of the other eye?
Zero.
So you only have one good eye?
Yeah, well, you know this is a fake eye.
Yeah, it's a fake eye.
So obviously you can't see through plastic.
Okay, so why would you even want to continue fighting knowing that you could have damaged the one eye that still works?
Because to answer your question before, I just became the champ. And that's when shit really gets real. I always did well. I always had a good career. I always got paid well. I always got bonused well. I was living the dream already. But I become the champion of the world. And then I had a super fight at Madison Square Garden against George St. Pierre, coming back and moving up a weight class. You know, I mean, that's the stuff that dreams are made of. That's the stuff you think about as a kid, like the White House. I mean, that's Madison Square Garden times 10. I mean, have you allowed yourself to actually visualize what that's going to be like? There's only 6 fights on it. It's a one-off. President Trump's going to be there. I'm sure you're a proud American. There's going to be all kinds of
eagles,
shit,
fireworks,
right? Yeah. Security checks. You know what I mean? You only
Benjamin
just made
Franklin's house over there somewhere. Thomas Jefferson Memorial
I
over
wish
there.
I could say some of the stuff because it's insane.
Bro, but just think about that. Like you're fighting like on the main postcard of America, on the back of the dollar, the image. Like you're fighting.
Hold on. What have you heard? Oh, don't say anything if you have heard.
Yeah, maybe don't leak it. You're on their good side.
I mean, I'll tell you everything I heard. Nothing.
Yeah.
All right, good man. Nothing. I like that. Jason's teaching you. But have you like what he's saying? Have you visualized that? Like, what does that feel like in your mind?
I don't want to. Like, I let myself kind of like indulge in the craziness, the feeling, the realm of what can possibly happen. Whatever cases, I was like, at the end of the day, I got to get into the hardest fist fight of my life. I'm fighting for my life here. I don't care. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's amazing. I love everything it entails. I love the White House. I love the magnitude of what's about to happen. But honestly, I haven't started camp yet. But once camp hits, I become mean, bro. I become someone else. I become grumpy. I feel bad for my wife. I feel bad for my kids because it's almost like you go into this like primal mode. And I feel like that's going to be even worse now just because of everything weighing in on this. But what I love is that my family's so supportive. My I have an autistic daughter, so she really doesn't really know too much. But my son, he asks, Dad, where are you? Why aren't you coming? Like, now he's starting baseball and stuff, so sometimes I can't take him. And dude, it kills me. But I make sure that I make it count. It has to count. And that's what matters to me. Because honestly, I'm not gonna say that I'm not excited and I'm not grateful for fighting on the White House. Of course. I am, but this is still a fight.
And that's what people that have never fought don't understand, regardless of the magnitude, regardless of the consequences, regardless of this is a number one contender matchup. Your number one motivation is that you've got another world-class fighter that's trying to whoop your ass, knock you out, choke you out unconscious, never mind in front of the whole world. because that's secondary. Right now, you're fighting for survival. You're fighting for your life. And a guy is trying to grab hold of your face and stick his knee right through it,
100%.
splash your nose all over your face, you know what I mean? And do serious, significant damage. And people, oh, well, I don't think he's motivated for this one, because it's like, bro, have you ever stepped in there?
Yeah.
They're all fucking motivated, because if you're not, then shit goes wrong.
It's not a good place to second guess yourself. That's for sure. You know what I mean? And then on top of that, like you do have people watching. You do have everybody looking at you, and that doesn't make it any better, make it any worse. But only one person gets to win. So who's it going to be? It's going to be me or you.
And he just fought for the belt. I don't know what he's ranked. It's got to be high.
He's number 2.
He's number 2.
It has to be number 2.
So I get the second best guy in the world right now. If there's no bulk, he's a champ.
Yeah.
So let's go. Bring it on. Like that's how I see it. Like honestly, I'm getting kind of like worked up a little bit, but the
No,
I love it.
No, I love that second when you talked about when you go into this primal mode.
Yeah.
Because that's all I hear about these days from people about me, about how much of a dickhead I used to be.
Perillo said you were the craziest dude in the gym. Hardest working, didn't care about anything else but winning, grinded the hardest.
No, but
always
just
listened,
like
but you were an
being,
animal.
Just being rude though to people.
Rampage used to say that he trained with you just to go down this little rabbit hole. Rampage told me he trained with you one time in a camp in the UK, and that you were just a monster in the gym, and everything about you was just nothing what he would have expected. He's like, all your tenacity, your aggression, your passion was at an all-time high.
Yeah. Well, no, thank you, Rampage. But like, I'm just what you said. When it comes to fight week, it's like a different version of it comes out.
Yeah.
And obviously, I work with the UFC now, and I'm very blessed. And I still hear stories to this day. It's like, oh, you were a nightmare back in the day. I'm like, no, I wasn't.
You were just mean to everybody?
Yeah, apparently so. I'm like,
I've heard that too. I just didn't want to say that.
Yeah, but it's like, I'm fighting someone on Saturday night.
It's fight week.
Okay? Yeah. I'm in fight mode.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm starving.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Are you like that through the whole camp or just fight week? Because I'm like that kind of like about 8 to 10 weeks out.
Yeah.
Not as bad, but the closer and closer it gets. I tell my wife this. I love you, but I think about him then more than I think about you.
It depends how the camp is going. Like,
Okay.
You know, like my jiu-jitsu coach, I owe him so many apologies, because Brady's an awesome jiu-jitsu coach, knows a lot of shit, but he would let me talk shit. Whereas Perillo doesn't. And like it's like, if you're going to allow me to blow off steam at you, and you know, let's say we're doing jiu-jitsu and he fucking chokes me out or whatever. I'm like, motherfucker, why are you doing that? This guy doesn't do that. You know what I'm saying? And then afterwards I'd be like, I'm so sorry, Brady. That was so out of line.
Yeah.
But he would let me do that.
Okay.
You know?
All right.
So like maybe that was his way of just letting me blow off steam. But Jason Perillo was like, bro, you're going to talk to me like that? Get out the gym. You know,
He was like that with you.
Oh, 100%. I remember one day we were sparring, and then he was telling me what to do, and I'm like, yeah, I got it, Jay. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Music off. He goes, right, what are you doing? Do you want to learn? Do you want to get better? Do you want to improve? Do you want to listen to me? Because if you're not going to listen, then walk out of the door right now.
Yeah. Greg's kind of like that.
Well, of course I want to listen. Of course I want to learn.
Yeah. I mean, people have different styles.
Is that how your head coach is?
Greg's like that. Yeah. Wink
Jaxxon,
kind of lets it slide a little bit. He's gonna check on you. Greg's just like not really talking. One, he just is a very firm believer that you do not bring emotion to what you're doing, because then you get thrown off, whether it's good or bad. You know, some people write it really hard, and then sometimes if you don't get it, now you're wondering why you don't have it. Some people they get so consumed by like getting so upset that it almost throws them off the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like Greg's like, we live and die by a process and not by our emotions. He says, because emotions come and go. If you stick to like if you know, some people just like have that guillotine. Dustin Poirier loves the guillotine, right? How many times has he got the guillotine?
Yeah, I don't know.
Emotionally, everybody wants to get that damn guillotine, right? He says you need to know the next step after that plan fails. And then when the next plan fails, that's fine, because you are constantly in the process of doing what's next. Never ever being emotional. So when people, like, obviously Jackson's is kind of crazy too sometimes, but the heavyweights, you always see in the heavyweights. The heavyweights, bro, like they get it. They yell at each other, they cuss each other out. Greg kicks them out.
Yeah.
Immediately out. He says, you guys want to fight? Go out there.
Controlling the emotions is the biggest thing.
Amazing.
And I've said this so many times, it doesn't matter what you do in any walk of life. If you're emotional, you're never the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you're doing, whatever it is.
100%.
If you're overly emotional, you're performing like shit. And then you're trying to go out there and fight the best martial artist on the planet, and you're reacting out of emotion.
Yeah.
Again, you need to be cool, calm, and collected, composed. Anderson Silva is the best example
100%.
of that.
100%.
You know,
Very disciplined.
and I remember Perillo, he was waiting for me outside the gym one day. It was sparring day, and you know, whatever. I used to have a bad temper and all the rest of it, and I've calmed down, and a lot of that's because of Jason. But he was waiting outside the gym one day, smoking a cigarette, and I get out of the car, and he goes, "Morning." He said, "Can we have a quick chat?" He said, "There's a room full of killers in there. They're all waiting for you. Go in there and be a world champion." And I don't mean go in there and beat the shit out of everyone. Go in there and control the room, right? This is your room. They're all here for you. Go in there, control your emotions, you know, and great advice, you know, so just bring it all down a notch. Doesn't mean that the output can't be the same, but mentally. It's like another coach whenever I do strength and conditioning, I'm like, It's like, what are you doing? Control your face.
Right.
Control your face. You can still have the same output, but you don't have to be good, because you can still look normal as opposed to going, do you know what I'm saying? It's like, control your fucking face. You want to see what you look like right now.
I mean, 100%. I think even like Perillo probably had to deal a lot with that when he was helping BJ Penn along with his career, because that dude is one of the most composed, but he was a killer when he was a younger BJ Penn. And,
of course.
And Perillo had to go through that. He had to go through Tito Ortiz. He had to go through Cyborg. I mean, he went through some of the best champions the sport's ever seen. And, you know, apparently the things he's done with you, he always says was some of the highlights of his career, just because of how hard you worked and how receptive you were to the advice he gave you.
It was always the mental side. Don't get me wrong. Helped my boxing, all that stuff. Of course it did. But the big thing was the mental side.
Well, you see it, and I think even at a higher level, I'm waiting for you to give me something, a noise, a grunt, something. I'm like, what was it about that shot that I just hit him with that made him grunt? Or is he getting emotional? Or are these little triggers or these little things that they do? I'm constantly looking for it. Always looking for it. I was like, all right, that got something out of him. Good or bad, you know, it doesn't really matter. I was like, how do I piss this guy off? Or opposite, what am I doing to this guy to make him fight better? You know what I mean? Like, I need to figure out, I'm like, all right, am I sucking right now? Like, what's going on? But I'm constantly looking for that emotion. And I think maybe it's because obviously Greg's my coach and he's always had me like cognitively like being aware of what's going on there. But most of these knockouts all come because they give me a body language signal of some sort to where I'm like, there it is. All right, I'm going in. You know what I mean? That's how, exactly. I'm zoned in, I'm dialed in. So I can see why emotion, and maybe it's benefited me. Maybe some people fight really good off of emotion. But for me, I think confidence is the key. And if you want to call it emotion, call it emotion. But I feel like confidence is something that you don't need to really express. You know what I mean? I don't need to be like, hey, I'm confident. Like, you don't need to say that. You just are.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? That's just what you carry with you. You know, I don't need anybody to like tell me like, dude, you look super confident.
And it doesn't matter if you look super confident or if you say you're super confident or not. That doesn't matter, because you can't lie to yourself anyway.
Yeah.
You know, you can stand there and do all the media in the world and go, yeah, I'm going to whoop this guy's ass. And then you let on your bed late at night and you go, oh, I don't know if I can.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He looks pretty tough.
100%.
And then you have those days where you're just like, oh.
Yeah, you do have
like,
those
I don't
days.
even think I'm freaking good enough to go beat this grandma down
Yeah,
the
like
road.
shit, that was a bad day of training.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're going to have to
gosh.
have that and figure out how to mentally
Yeah,
get
of
through it to
course.
Wall.
Exactly.
We're going to hop in the cage and we're going to kind of just walk through a few things that I wanted to talk about, like Diego style, how you feel you would be able to combat that, and some other things that Bisping and me were talking about. Last thing I have for you in the podcast, first of all, thank you so much for coming out here. Excited to see your camp, excited to see this card.
Sure.
It's going to be legendary. The fight between Pico and Pitbull. I know Pico trained a lot at JW. I think he's still there, right? He's got a big fight coming back after that last loss. I think Pico is one of the most talented guys. Bo Nickel talked a lot about his wrestling, and we know how his boxing pedigree is.
Yeah.
What do you think he's going to have to do to get this win over Pitbull?
Honestly, he just needs to be himself. Honestly, like I think he needs to conquer the lights and the magnitude of the UFC and his expectations that everybody has for him, and just go do what you do. You know what I mean? He's honestly one of the hardest workers that you'll ever see. Very talented, very skilled, hits very hard, great wrestling. I honestly think he should do very, very well against Pitbull. Like, honestly, I feel like this is a great fight for him.
What do you think, Bisping?
I mean, obviously Aaron Pico was always highly touted. I remember back in the days coming to train at Ruka and you saw people talking about his wrestling ability, his boxing ability, and then, he lost a couple, then he starts going on a tear again, comes to the UFC, gets caught by Lerone Murphy in that crazy elbow, That's just life sometimes, and if he's able to overcome that and get a big win over Pitbull and then go out there and fulfill his destiny, it only makes the journey even better.
Yeah.
100%.
Anything special you think he needs to do to win this fight, though, coming off that knockout loss he had?
That was just, you can't say it was a fluke because it wasn't a fluke. Lerone threw it, he ate it,
It's just one of those things that it's hard to predict.
It's mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
That's why, as a UFC commentator, I can't bet on fights.
Yeah.
But even when I could, I never did. Because you just don't know what the hell is going to happen out there.
It's hard for sure.
He knows what he's capable of. Pitbull's a dangerous guy, doesn't have the highest output, Good jiu-jitsu, but I don't think Pico needs to worry about that necessarily. Go out there and just fight his fight,
100%. We're going to hop in the cage right now. Make sure you guys check out all the behind the scenes of the Hamzat Chimaev Campbell, Arman Sarukian, and Khalil Roundtree and the Jaxxon Behind the Brand show. And now we're going to step in there with Garcia and Bisping. I just love where you generate the knockout power. I think people will love that.
Let's do it.
All right, cool. 3, 2, 1. All right, listen, we're in the cage. I'm with Bisping and Mr. White House Garcia himself. And one thing everybody loves about you is your knockout power. You had an incredible streak going, and you're on a streak right now for wins, but you have this incredible knockout power. Me and Bisping talked about it on the podcast. Where do you generate that from? How do you do it? And then Bisping, I'd love for you to kind of explain when you're fighting against a guy like that, how do you kind of have defense against that? How do you defend that knockout power, knowing this guy can do it at any moment?
Yep. I honestly think that, some people just got it, some people don't, but it can be developed. And also fighting is also about like timing, you know what I mean? Understanding the position that you're in to have the best impact on your shots. So for me, it was always like, if you guys understand lanes, like in my head, this is what we're doing. So I'm a southpaw. So a lot of times I got to put myself in a position where I can let my left hand go, which is typically the one that puts people out. But what I like to do is, I like to find lanes. So right now, my perfect lane is right here, okay? I can put myself here, I can still land this here, but right now, we're in a mirror stance right now. So everything that I have, he has too. My whole thing is, I need him to walk into something. And if he's not gonna walk into something, I like to maybe either put him against the cage, or if I need him to find some moments where he can respect me, he's gonna come back at me. So I wanna push, wait for that pull to come back in so he can fall into a shot. So right now, what I like to do is, if I'm here, I can take a step back, he's gonna come forward, Okay, he's not trying to angle, he's not trying to go left or right, he's literally coming straight in. Perfect. I'm gonna fall off because typically, that's a measuring stick right there, is a jab. Yeah. So now I'm gonna fall off that jab, boom, and I'm gonna come straight in. And because he's coming into it and I'm going into him, the amount of impact that's gonna happen is gonna create, your power.
Yeah.
So I'm not a big guy that's like has all these flashy knockouts. I hit really hard and I'll sit you on your ass.
And obviously, if you're trying to generate power, if you've got your feet planted on the ground, that's what's going to generate power. Just like when you swing a baseball, swing a golf club, it starts at your feet, comes up through your hips, you turn, boom, and then it extends like that. So if you're moving around and you're very, very light on your feet, that's when you'll have more of a flicking style like this, But if you plant your feet, and remind me, do you have your feet planted,
100%.
Steve?
Yeah.
This guy's got his feet planted, so whoa,
I'm coming
maximum
forward.
power.
I'm coming forward and I need my feet on the ground, okay? It's kind of like Bisping saying, I can move, I'm out of range, but the moment that we are about to get into contact.
When you're gonna engage?
Yes, we're engaging. Now I need to stay planted, I need to have a good base. Legs are important, making sure that you have good foundation, and you gotta make sure that you're in a good stance. So because more likely, if I'm grounded, he's grounded. And so he's gonna come at me and I'm gonna come at him. So if I'm over here, too tall, maybe too wide, he might kick my leg out. Too tall, I might fall over. It has to be solid stance to where you are strong. Because now we're about to lock horns. As soon as you lock horns, now we're gonna see who's gonna fall, who's not gonna fall. You know what I mean?
I mean, if I was fighting someone like Steve, obviously, when I was fighting Dan Henderson, obviously the whole thing was the big right hand, the H-bomb. I got knocked out with it once. I knew if I was gonna fight him again, that was gonna be the big weapon for him. And I did get caught with it a couple of times, but the main things were, obviously, if he throws a shot, there's multiple ways of defending. If he throws, I can slip, I can step back, and I can parry and block. But you want to have a positive defense, because if he throws and I step away, That's a negative defense because now I can't respond here. If he throws it here, I block here. Obviously now, bang here, throw the knee, whatever. Another thing was as well, if I'm throwing head kicks, if you're throwing low kicks, it's all well and good, you can get counted, whatever. But if I'm throwing a good head kick, and I'm not as flexible as I used to be, and I've got a sore hip right now, but if I'm throwing a head kick, what's he going to do? You see it there? The hands are going to come up. So if he's blocking, he ain't throwing the right hand. So as we're moving here, going here, and I'm flicking the head kick up all the time, but because it stops him throwing the right hand.
Amazing. Yeah.
Okay.
So, sorry. Yeah, that was perfect. So one of the biggest things is like, you've been phenomenal in your career fighting dudes that were at the top of their game and kind of beating them at their own game. Big power, big shots, closing off the cage. What's the key to closing off the cage? Because we see a lot of times, even like when Diego fights, he's very good at always keeping the pace on someone.
Well, that was the thing with Diego in his first fight against Volkanovski. Diego Lopez, he likes to come forward, throwing wild shots and all the rest of it. But Volk was able to use that footwork and stay just out of range. Also, for Marlon Vera, Chito, he knows this, I'm not talking badly, when he fought David Martinez just recently. As he was going forward, Martinez was just do it more slowly and just go that kind of to the side. He was trying to go forward and he was just backing off to the side. What you got to do is you got to mirror your opponent. Someone like Chito or like Diego Lopez, if you're got to beat them to it. If he goes that way, you got to beat them to it, and then slowly you back him up. And if he goes that way, you got to beat him to it. If he goes that way, you got to beat him to it. And then obviously across the door, you can back him up here against the fence. That's when they've got you. And that's when you can start going to town. And if you go that way, you're going to have fast. If you go that way. That's why you got to do footwork drills. Footwork drills are so important. I did them my entire life. I did them my whole career. I do it every single time when I'm training people. Very, very simple, basic drills. Get 3 gloves, 3 markers on the ground, and just shout out 1, 2, 3. That's 1, 2, 3. 1, 3, 2, 3. 1. Or side to side and shit like that. You gotta have fast feet. If you haven't got fast feet, the guy's gonna get away from you and you're not gonna be able to set any traps.
Amazing. You good?
Yeah, man.
Oh, man. No, that's
I just got off a plane, Steve. Come on, let's fucking go. Come on.
Yeah, bro, he's ready to go. No, I mean, you talk about cutting off the cage. We've seen a lot of viral videos of GSP recently. You obviously fought him, and he's always talking about this matador approach. It's been going viral on the internet. I just recently, someone brought it up on our Jaxxon podcast Discord about cutting off the cage control, understanding the person, like what you're saying, mirroring them. But when, say for example, as we get ready to wrap up this pod, this dude's getting ready to fight a guy like Diego Lopez. Someone, like he even said on the pod, has to be the first to engage, and then someone has to be the first to step back. Both of these fighters have been known to apply pressure and be the one putting the pace on. How do you fight a guy like that?
I mean, listen, you go into engage, because if you don't engage, it ends up looking like Sam Patterson or Michael Venom Page. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Yeah. That was an uneventful fight. So you got to engage. That's what we get paid for, you know. And again, against a guy like Steve or Diego Lopez or a lot of people that I fought, it comes with dangers. But that's why we get paid the money we do. That's why we've reached the levels that we are. But, you know, you hear the chin's tucked, the hands are up, lots of little feints, boom. Have them second guessing when you're gonna go, what you're gonna throw, what's he gonna be, hit, boom, boom.
He's gonna fight soon, Bisping. He's gonna fight soon. Go easy on him. Go easy on him. Watch his neck, Bisping. I love it. Listen, one of the biggest legends in the sport of MMA, Michael Bisping. My man's about to be on the White House card, one of the most iconic cards in the history of MMA. Mr. White House Garcia himself. Just an incredible time here on the podcast, breaking things down, showing you guys a little bit behind the scenes. Like I said, if you guys want to see the behind the scenes of everything going on here at the Jaxxon Media House, that's on the Jaxxon Behind the Brand show. It's every Friday. It's live on the YouTube channel, Jaxxon Behind the Brand. And then Inside the Cage, the episodes with myself and Bisping, where we sit down with fighters like Garcia, and we really break it down. Then we try to come in the cage and give you guys a little something that you guys could see that you wouldn't mostly see from these guys. That's right here, Jaxxon Podcast, Michael Bisping, Inside the Cage. Thank you guys for watching. We're out.